Hey everyone, today we're doing 10.3, solving quadratic equations by graphing. So what we've been doing so far has just been graphing them. Now we're going to solve these. So to solve, there are two ways. We could solve by factoring. We could factor x squared minus 6x plus 5, or we could graph it. Now our solutions are going to be our x-intercepts. So every time that parabola crosses the x-axis, those are going to be our solutions, or our zeros. So we're going to start by solving 1/2 x squared plus 2x equals 6. So if we have 1/2 x squared plus 2x equals 6, well, that's not in ax squared plus bx plus c form. What we need to do is move that 6 over. So I'm going to move the 6 over here. So we have now 1/2 x squared plus 2x minus 6 equals 0. So now to graph this, first I need to know my axis of symmetry. Now my axis of symmetry is x equals negative b divided by 2a. Negative b, well, that's going to be a negative 2 divided by 2a. So 2 times 1/2, which is going to be negative 2 divided by 1. So x is going to equal negative 2. That's going to be our axis of symmetry. Now I need to find what the other point of my vertex is going to be. I know that my vertex is going to start with 2, or negative 2 I should say. So we got to plug in negative 2 into our equation. So we get 1/2 times negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2 minus 6. Negative 2 squared is 4. Half of 4 is 2. 2 times negative 2, that gives us negative 4 minus 6. 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. Minus 6 is negative 8. So my vertex is going to be negative 2, negative 8. So and now I'm going to look, one last thing, I'm going to look at my c. My c this time is negative 6. So if I draw my parabola, or my graph I should say, I'm going to go over to negative 2, negative 8. So negative 2 down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My c this time is at negative 6. So that's 2 above the negative 8. My axis of symmetry is this negative 2. So this is 2 away from the axis of symmetry, so I'm going to go on the other side 2 away and figure out another point. Now when I graph this parabola, it looks like my, I know it's not perfect, but it looks like my solutions here are at x equals negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like I have a solution at x equals negative 6. And I have a solution at x equals 2. So we're going to go with the next one. We have negative x squared plus 2x equals 1. So negative x squared plus 2x equals 1. What we got to do is subtract the 1. So we get negative x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 0. Now to find my axis of symmetry, x equals negative b divided by 2a, which is going to be a negative 2 divided by 2 times a negative 1, because my a this time is negative 1. So negative 2 divided by negative 2, well, that's going to be a 1. So x equals 1. Now to find my vertex, put that back in, we get negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus 1 equals 0. 1 squared is 1, but then that negative comes out, so it's a negative 1, plus 2 times 1, which is 2, minus 1. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1, minus 1 is going to give us 0. So in this case, my vertex is going to be at 1, 0. So then if I draw my graph here, I know I have an axis of symmetry at x equals 1. And I have my vertex at 1, 0. So this time my parabola is just going to go up. Oh, actually, sorry, this is actually going to go down because my a is negative. So this is going down, but still it only crosses the y-axis once. Or sorry, the x-axis once. So that means my solution is just going to be x equals 0. We're not actually going to have, or sorry, x equals 1, because it's at x equals 1. We don't actually have another solution. We only have 1, 0. So x equals 1 is our answer. Next one, x squared plus 7 equals 4x. X squared plus 7 equals 4x. What we're going to do is subtract that 4x to get to the other side. So x squared minus 4x plus 7 equals 0 now. Find the axis of symmetry. X equals a negative b divided by 2a. Negative b is actually going to be a negative negative 4. 2 times 1 is a. So we'll have a positive 4 divided by 2. This time x is going to equal 2. Now if we put that back into our equation, we'll have 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 7. 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 plus 7. 4 minus 8 is negative 4 plus 7 gives me a positive 3. So in this case, our vertex is at 2, 3. So if I draw my graph then, 2, 3 is at 2, up 1, 2, 3. I know my C is 7. So I know my y-intercept is at 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I label my axis of symmetry, 7 is 2 away, so I'm going to go 2 more away. Now it looks like this parabola is going up. In this case, it never is going to cross the x-axis. So in this case, we have no solutions. We have no solutions because there are no zeros on the x-axis. Last one I want you guys to try on your own. Remember, f of x is just a fancy way of saying y. So you can do this the same way as you've done any other problem today. So pause this video and try this one on your own.